Hey guys, what's up? It's Vivs here from Slide Nerd. In this video, I'm going to talk about how we can have vector drawables on both Lollipop and pre-Lollipop devices with the Mr. Vector library. Now you can consider this library to be some kind of vector drawable compat. Now there are two ways you can inflate this vector drawable on both Lollipop and pre-Lollipop. One is through XML and the other is through code. So let's go to the library on GitHub and take a look at what it says. Here, the first sentence, you notice vector drawable compat A7 plus backport of vector drawable. That's pretty good because it's going to work on all versions after 7. If you go down further, this is what the demo looks like, as you can see there. And this is the compiled dependency that we need to add in our build.gradle file. Let's do that. Just copy it, go to our project here, and go to the build.gradle file and add this dependency at the bottom. So once we do that, all you gotta do is rebuild the project. The project was built successfully, but here is how you use it. If you want to use the library in code, you simply say Mr. Vector.inflate. You pass the get resources object out there and the name of the drawable that you want to inflate, and this is going to give you your drawable object that you can use in code. And the problem with this library currently is that you have to duplicate every attribute 2 times. So the first time you specify auto width, auto height, and then you specify Android width, Android height, and so on. And you have to do this for everything. Take a look at path here. There's auto stroke color, auto stroke width, auto path data, and then there's Android stroke color, Android stroke width, and path data, so on. And here the guy has written, unfortunately, due to some inflated weirdness, able to read correctly, but not others. Now I'll fix this. I promise. You have to duplicate. I know this sucks. All your Android attributes over here. And it also says you must put your auto attributes before your Android attributes. Notice that as well. If you go down further, this is how you inflate an XML. You simply say @drawable / vector drawable, and that is going to do it. But you have to make sure that you register your Mr. Vector in your application or activity like this by saying Mr. Vector.register and put the name of all the drawables here that you want to inflate in XML. So with that, your basic setup is complete for both XML or code-based inflation. Now let's take a look at how we do this. Here's my vector underscore android.xml, which is placed inside the generic drawable folder. Notice how I have specified the attribute 2 times. There's auto height, viewport width, height width, and then there's Android width, height, viewport, height width. Same way for the path, again I have specified the auto attributes once and then I have specified the Android attributes. As you see, this is the current drawback of the library. You have to duplicate everything twice, once using the Android namespace and the other time using the auto namespace. And also remember that the auto namespace comes first before the Android attributes start. Otherwise, you're going to experience some problem or issues in your code. Now let's get to the layout here for activity underscore vector underscore test.xml. Go to the text part. There's just an image view here for which I'm going to specify the vector drawable in code. So going back to the vector test activity, all I have to do is go inside my onCreate and find that image view and then say Mr. Vector.inflate. Here I pass the get resources method and the name of the drawable file, that is vector drawable file that I want to inflate, and store that inside this variable called drawable. Now if I check the build version, if it's greater than 16, I simply call imageView.setBackground. Otherwise, I call the imageView.setBackground drawable. As you can see, it says the method is deprecated. In other words, from API 16, you're supposed to use the setBackground method, and for the previous APIs, you can use the setBackground drawable method. At this point, if you run the app, let's take a look at what happens. I have 3 emulators running over here. One is my 4.3 version, the other is KitKat, and the third is my Lollipop. If you go to the vector test activity, everywhere, take a look at that. Our vector drawable is working across all devices, and that is pretty fantastic, isn't it? The only problem, or the only drawback I should say, is that we have to duplicate a lot of attribute values inside our vector underscore android.xml. The process of doing this with XML by directly inflating the vector drawable, unfortunately, is not working for me. If it's working for you, you're lucky. But at the same time, here if you take a look at the roadmap of this library, it says full inflate from the layout support. It's partially implemented except for the typed array calling load drawable. In my case, the XML drawable is simply crashing. I even tried opening an issue on their library and told them that I'm experiencing such a crash and this is my code. And the guy basically says, have you checked your manifest file? Did you include the custom application class that has been declared? Now you know very well that I have included the application with the Android name equals to .my application, which obviously wouldn't be the case. I mean, my videos won't be working if I didn't do that in all my previous videos, right? So there's probably some kind of problem with the XML part of this library. I think it's not stable at the time of making this video. However, the load from Drawable works perfectly in code. Hopefully that helps you a bit to get started with vector drawables. Again, remember the drawback which I discussed about them in the previous video. And if you know a better library that can do this in both XML and code, be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like what you saw, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to Slide Nerd, and let me know your thoughts in the comment boxes below. Let's continue further. Have a nice day. Thanks.